We had a thrilling team competition earlier today. We now turn our focus to the individuals on day 3 of the 2018 CrossFit Games East Regional in Albany, New York. We get set for heat number 1 of event number 5. I'm Jeff Private alongside Tanya Wagner. We'll be joined later by Nick Zielinski. And boy, the individuals or anything like the teams are going to be outstanding. We'll take a look at a little bit longer event here in this test, Tanya, the new 50s, I guess you could call them.
This is the 50s all jacked up here. This is going to be quite the event. So we have 50 handstand push-ups followed by 50 toes to bar. No big deal there, 50 calories on the assault bike, but then some new things here. We have 50 dumbbell box step overs, and we have 50-foot right arm overhead lunge and a 50-foot left arm overhead lunge. The other dumbbell is going to be in your hand at your shoulder. Stay tuned for what that looks like when we get to it. But there is a 17-minute time cap for the guys. This one's going to be ridiculous. The dumbbells for the guys weighs 70 pounds, so this is going to be exciting.
Looking at the lane assignments, Alex Vino in lane number 8. I know kind of a disappointing week for him. Was expected to contend, just really under the weather earlier on Friday. Josh Workman, as you just saw in lane 9, he's going to be fun to watch. He's made a little bit of some noise. And David Garbineau in lane 15, and that is how they will line up. And there's Jeremy Vino, the younger brother of Alex. Here we go. We're going to start it off at the Rogue Rig for the 50 handstand push-ups.
50 handstand push-ups. These guys know what their time should be, where they need to be with breaking these sets up. Really, that's not going to be, the issue isn't going to be here. The issue is really not going to be until they get to the dumbbell box step overs, where we're going to see some log jams happen. But when you look at this event, it's a longer event, so you really still need to be appropriate with the way you pace them. What I see with the handstand push-ups, really the biggest thing it's going to do is fatigue those shoulders a little bit for when you get to the walking lunges. You won't be done a lot with your shoulders until you get there. So still being smart with what you do here, but these guys can rip the handstand push-ups out much faster than they can in years past.
Here we go, where Trevor James at a CrossFit Milford. Back to the middle. Again, got to knock these things out. It's 50. You don't want to do a max effort set, obviously, because you have a lot of work to do, especially once you get on the dumbbells, as Tanya mentioned. Again, there's a couple of guys we'll be keeping an eye on here in this heat. Vino this weekend, of course, 148 points in 25th place, the 25th and the 17th. Trying to bounce back yesterday. He did early in event number 3 with a 13th place. Then the 31st on event 4 really sealed his face. And of course, Josh Workman, he is 23rd overall with 140 points. He's made some moves, 10th in the triple three, so maybe a little bit longer time domain here in this test. And this event may end up playing into his favor. We'll see how that pays off. And he's kind of been in and out.
And remember, Workman's only 19 years old. He's a baby in this sport when it comes to where we are here. He's getting to compete with the big guys on the individual side of competition with some of these athletes that have been competing for 5-6 years at this level. So Workman made a name for himself. He got his name here on the scene, and I expect give him a few years here to settle in, find his own, and that'll be a name that we see in the future.
Now most of the athletes are going to move to the toes to bar. And Tanya, I'm sure you tell your athletes, as I do, it is not toes near, around, or over. Both toes hit the bar at the same time.
They do. Where it doesn't count, you'll be doing more work. Toes to bar, one of those movements, again, where similar to handstand push-ups, you have to know what your abilities are and not go to complete failure and fatigue when it comes to big sets. These athletes are very strong, they're capable, they can do bigger sets than, again, we've seen in the past, but still you have to be careful not to get yourself too far in the tank where you're going to singles or your sets become so small.
Just saw young Josh Workman on his toes to bar. And again, it really comes to your grip. You can stay in that tip and that rhythm. Workman there in the white shirt in the middle of your screen, next to Christian Harris there in the blue. Yeah, there is Charbonneau. So a little bit over 3 minutes and a 17-minute time cap. Long way to go, so you don't want to rush through this portion of it because the real work begins, as Tanya has mentioned a couple times, on the dumbbells. And if this doesn't get you gassed up a little bit, you got the assault bike laying there to the left.
Don't worry, we got something else for you.
So they'll make a move forward. Now we'll see 4 athletes now coming forward. The top of your screen looks like Charbonneau. Or Workman, excuse me, again in that white shirt.
They're both wearing white. Workman was the first one there to the bike. And really, this is the first heat. We have 2 heats. This is the heat that they're going to set the time. They still will affect the leaderboard based on how they play out. So it matters for the next heat. For the top finishers here, gives the next heat numbers, times to shoot for. But for some of these guys, like Workman, it's their first experience here. It's their first feeling of a full weekend of regional competition. It's different than your local competitions at affiliates nearby.
And Josh, for a second there, led the triple threes for a while. He got on that runner, got ahead quickly. I think he jumped out too quickly, if you remember, and Donner was keeping that nice, steady pace. So
maybe the nerves just got to him, and just being a rookie to the regional, it takes some of that of learning yourself, but he did show he could hang in a longer event with these guys. So maybe we'll see him be able to make it to the end. I'm telling you, the younger you are, you also recover so much faster. I'm just always amazed at how they bounce right back and they're ready for the next event. Maybe the weekend didn't take the same amount of toll, or I wonder. I'd be curious to find out if the region was as taxing as what he expected, or how it compared to what his thoughts were.
Has that familiar assault bike look. Even when you're trying to pace it out a little bit, there's just really no way to chill out on the assault bike. There's
no way to settle in and feel like, okay, I got my groove, I feel good. You don't really do that. If you are, you accidentally stopped. So here's the other thing. To be quite blunt and honest, there's a lot of these guys that just can't wait to get to the finish line. They know 2 events just finished this is the games for some of these guys that know they're not going to really move on in advance to the real games. They're here at the regional level, and this is where their goal is. They may have years left of competitions and competing, and so for some of them, they're just trying to do their best here. And when it's the final day, you're just trying to hold on with all you have left. And there's a bunch of guys out there right now feeling that way, that they just want to survive this event so they can get through the final event, wrap up their day, and feel good about all the work they put in, all this experience they just put under their belt.
And one of the big things in learning at this level of competition is not the work capacity. And there's Alex Vigneault in the blue shorts of the CrossFit Quebec City, currently 25th, 102 points. Again, at 25th and 17th. Jumped up with that 13th in event 3 yesterday, with a 31st. Kind of sealed his fate that he was not going to be able to make a run at things. But again, he has been under the weather. Talking about a little sinus infection that he had coming in, and really that does tax on you. A lot of people say a runny nose, but it's a little bit more than a runny nose.
Well, here's the other thing. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people talking about your name, but I think the best thing for Vigneault this year is that this is a checkpoint for him. It's a check-in. How far has the competition, has my competition gotten the past 2 years? Where do I need to be? What changes do I need to make? Maybe he repeated those open workouts. You never quite know with the open how many times do they do the workouts. These events here at the region, you get 1 shot at the regional. So now we're seeing a little difference. I'm sure he's taking a lot of takeaways from this weekend.
I think it's Alex Bozenhart who's making his way off the bike onto the rower, and Josh Workman is now off the bike. He'll make his way to the rower as well. One thing that Josh is going to learn here, and any of these athletes can handle, now onto the step overs, and nothing that it's not the volume so much, but when you're at your own box, you can manage your rest. You don't have obligations. You don't have to check in. There's so much difference. The recovery is a lot different in the competition setting. You can't go home and take a nap between events here.
The social media makes it look like it's so glamorous when they get their pictures, they get their credentials, they get their shirts, and all the things that they get to see the fun side. But there is so much work that goes into the weekend. Planning your food, figuring it all out, where you have to be. And that's such a great point, Jeff. There is so much more to the regionals, that if it's your first time, that's what you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting all of that. It's not just pack your cooler for one day and get a good night's sleep at your home. There's a lot more to it. So the fact that Workman has been able to handle himself all 3 days through all of this is incredible. And here, a new movement that we're seeing in competition, anywhere in the CrossFit competitions, these dumbbell box step overs. The worst thing I see is that the box is soft, and so when you step up and you're holding 140 pounds plus your body weight, there's that give in the box, so it's unstable. It's not easy. You really have to just balance and keep your core together. These guys are leaning forward to keep that balance and keep themselves not falling forward off the box. If they get those dumbbells too far in front, it pulls them forward, and then that's not good. So just figuring out how to manage these things. I'm sure when it was announced, they practiced them, and unless they have the soft boxes at their affiliates, they were probably practicing on wooden boxes that they typically use.
And even if you have a soft box at your affiliate, you might be able to tell here, you and I have been able to get in the warm-up area, play with the soft boxes in the past and this season too. That is a much larger surface area. Don't think because it's flipped over, that's your old 20-inch box you have at your affiliate. That is 24-inch box, but the surface area, that's a much larger step, a little bit more distance, and that's going to add up getting over the box.
Some of these guys are taking 2 steps, some actually taking 3. Josh Workman usually takes a little 1, 2, 3 step and he's over. Other guys are doing just 2 steps, but it's a much bigger surface area, which each step you just have to stabilize that much more when you're pressing into an uneven surface or not hard surface.
10 minutes into a 17-minute time cap here to see one little bit of stumble. You don't have to come to full extension here, just both feet have to hit the box. And if you're new to CrossFit and you're fortunate this movement's not popped up in your affiliate yet, I know you're thinking just step over. It's not a box jump, can't be that bad. It's pretty awful.
It's awful. We use box step ups, a lot of affiliates do, as an alternative if you have knee issues with jumping, any issues with jumping, as a way to make that a step up more difficult. And it's really good to step up with weight, unilateral movement, pressing off of one leg. It's good for you, but it's not easy. And when you up the weight, it makes it that much more difficult, especially the last day of competition, especially for 50 step overs. They're gassed. There's a lot more tax in their upper body too, holding that weight, stabilizing the weight with their grip, their arms, their back.
One thing you also have to remember, this is more of a taller athlete's friend. A 24-inch box, you'd like to keep your knee in as good of a position you can. You really don't want to go often at higher than maybe a 90-degree angle. So your shorter athletes having to take kind of an awkward step and get that knee above the hip. You see the athletes flipping the boxes forward, trying to get to that red line. Andre Ganin, 15:10:09 over in the Europe region that has wrapped up today at the event record.
And that's with a lot of these guys, they have to lean forward because of the height of the box. If they don't lean forward and they step up, that's where the box starts to pop up and you have issues. So you have to lean forward, which puts your shoulders and your back in a little compromised position. So just this whole thing is just maintaining your body position and your core, and that makes it difficult to breathe.
Well, we have Trevor James here, and that is Trevor James out of CrossFit Milford, a familiar regional name, and one of your bigger, stronger athletes. You can see how taxing he is, and what Trevor's been doing, what some of the other athletes have been doing, he's actually stepping back from the box. There's Alex Vigneault. It may be a 2-step start to get a little bit of momentum before you hit up on that box.
Give yourself that little running start, if you will, a little step start.
Here we go. Vigneault takes a look over to Trevor James. So now we got a little bit of race out there and 2 spots over.
Vigneault did well back in 2016. He does well in the longer events. And he can handle that push. He can handle the volume. That's typically what we're used to seeing. So I like seeing him make that little push here.
Here's what we got. Trevor James in the lead. Alex Vigneault is in second. And here's your third place. Christian Harris out of CrossFit Athletic Academy is 21st overall with 133 points. And Harris this weekend, we've mentioned his name a couple of times. 15th and 25th on day 1, 34th in event 3, but yesterday in event 4 got a top 10 finish. But here is James on the left in the red headband. Vino on the right in the blue shorts. They're going to have an opportunity here. Maybe to flirt around with this event record in 15:010.
Well, they have still the lunges wait for them, so they will be holding on to those dumbbells, both of them. It's not just a one dumbbell lunge. And he's moving that box out of his way. And this is the point in the event. You are breathing so hard. Your legs are shot, your back is shot, and now you need to stabilize with a dumbbell over your head, lock in your shoulder with 70 pounds, and then hold the other dumbbell. Well, usually if you do a waiter walk or you do lunges with one dumbbell overhead, you balance, you stabilize with that other arm out to the side. No, pick up the other dumbbell, hold it on your shoulder. Let's see how you can stabilize. Let's see if you can breathe really heavy and stabilize and how well you do.
James was a little bit off base, but that rest took him out of an opportunity for an event record. Let's see if he can finish the event now. He's got 2.5 minutes. There's a lot of dumbbell, all dumbbell last year. We brought the barbell back this season, but we didn't want you to forget about the dumbbell in the open nor the regional. We'll see what happens in Madison, Wisconsin. And again, for those who have not done the one arm overhead lunge, even with a single dumbbell, you're going to have one side that's a lot more stable than the other. That's the great thing about the dumbbells. Exposes flexibility, stability. If you're doing a bench press, you can use that strong arm or the overhead press. You're going to find out your weakness with dumbbells.
And that's the point of CrossFit. Find your weakness and then work it. So don't just ignore it. That's why I love that they have to do right side going down, left side coming back. It forces you to not just rely on your strong side.
And on that dumbbell, as you tell athletes, don't let it sit there. You got to push up like you're trying to push out on the ceiling. If you don't keep that shoulder stable and that elbow locked out, as soon as that elbow goes soft, that's it on an overhead movement. Alex Vino, now he's holding out. Different techniques. James on the right going away from us, letting that dumbbell rest. Vino holding it really into the front rack and not letting, it's a lot of tension on that left arm, and he's about to have to use that left arm on the way back.
Well, remember the open event, the open where we did the dumbbells with the front squats? A lot of different techniques there. It's really preference. It's what's comfortable for you and wherever you're the most stable. The bigger thing is what you do with that dumbbell that's locked out, how you lean it back to help keep your balance and counterbalance your chest coming forward.
So Trevor James for the box one more time, 16:04 unofficial. He'll have the event lead going into one heat remaining.
CrossFit Milford team member the past few years. Good to see him out on the individual side.
Going to be eager to see Vino here in the blue shorts starting to make his way right to left, how he does. Remember, he front racked it with that left arm, didn't let it rest on the shoulder. Still looks stable. He's doing the same thing, front racking into the right arm. And really, wherever you can maintain your stability is where you want to have that dumbbell.
It is, but man, that right arm, he's not even really supporting it with his shoulder. It's all in the front. I'd love to see it go back and just kind of help him to keep his chest up, but he's gritting it out.
10 seconds to get in. Over the box, he'll be in under the count. But it's Trevor James, 16:04 an official, and Alex Vino finished it as well. So only two athletes here in the first large heat get in under the 17-minute time cap. Trevor James got to be pretty happy.
Trevor James wrapping up his day with a nice solid start.
Trevor James, the heat winner. Heat 2 is coming up from Albany, New York. Heat number 2 of event number 5 at the 2018 CrossFit Games East Regional. 200 points still out there on the final day. We're in Albany, New York, and we get set for a little bit longer time domain to start things out. I'm Jeff Bryant alongside Tanya Wagner, Nick Zielinski on the competition floor, and Heat 2 is going to feature the contenders who you see. Vellner, the 364 points, a 64-point lead in first. Paulson made the big move yesterday, but it is Daniel Vigier trying to hold off Chase Smith and Marquand Jones, and don't count out Cody Mooney, 22 points. Of 200 points available, 22 points is something that you can make up. So we'll see what happens here. And Tanya, it's 17 minutes. have grinded out.
Well, this one is all about who can work 50 handstand push-ups followed by 50 toes to bar, 50 calories on the assault bike, then dumbbell box step overs with 2 70-pound dumbbells right there on your screen to the right. 50 of those, and then 50 feet with the right arm overhead lunge and then the left arm overhead lunge, but you're holding the other dumbbell in a rack position, so not going to make that easy for you. The gentlemen here have a 17-minute time cap.
All right, let's see how they line up here. This is going to be a full competition floor, 20 lanes. Craig Kenny has been a big mover in lane number 9. Your overall leader in lane number 10 is Pat Vellner. As we move along here to lanes 11 through 20, Tim Paulson on lane 11 made the big move, and there is Chase Smith in lane number 13. Chase Smith just on the outside by 6 points, chasing Daniel Vigier. About ready to go. And we're underway. We're going to start out with the handstand push-ups. The first part of this event is not where you're going to win, but it is a spot in 17 minutes where you could lose it.
It could if you don't keep your pacing right, but you really have to just get yourself to the box with whatever energy you can. So be appropriate with your pacing here, that you're not taxed, because the assault bike is going to do that. But when you get to the box with those step overs, that's where we're seeing the athletes take a lot of time in between reps. So that's where you're going to make up a lot of ground.
That was Pat Vellner and Craig Kenny. Craig Kenny broke. I believe he was asking his judges, clarifying something maybe on a no rep or a standard there. Now with 50 of them to go, you've got time. Take a little breather, just make sure everything's good. Keep your palms inside. Make sure you get full extension. There's Vellner in that light bluish shirt, directly your overall leader. You know, listen to the feet hit the plexiglass there. Tony, that just reinforces the fact, especially at an affiliate, as we talk about. We like to talk about the games athlete, but also how it translates to your normal CrossFit athlete. Don't float off the wall. You've got to make contact here.
And that may have been what Kenny was talking about with his judge, but he had a lot of power and pop. These guys are allowed to kip, so use your hips as much as possible to get yourself up and your head off the ground.
Here comes Pat Vellner in the middle of your screen. It looked like Nicholas Oyala and Paul Tremblay were the first two to get onto the toes of the bar. They'll have 50 toes to bar here. Have to make contact with the pull-up bar with both toes at the same time. And on the way back down, you have to make sure the heels pass that plane from the pull-up bar straight down to the floor.
And first, looking at this event with all the work, all the volume, and the people that have to just dig in, these are the guys: Craig Kenny, Paulson, Vellner. They are the ones that I expect to see kind of open up and take the lead once we get into the gritty part of it, which is the box. But right now, I do expect majority of them to just stay together, kind of pace this thing out on their own, and the race isn't going to start till we get to that box.
Craig Kenny won the triple threes the other day, and we referenced a couple of times that he was one of 9 men, in fact, the overall winner in the 2014 regionals, among all regionals, in the 50s workout. Now, these are much different moves, but he does know this rep scheme, how to get through it, as we take a look at Cody Mooney. And Cody Mooney is in 8th place right now. With more on Cody Mooney is Nick Zielinski.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. You mentioned he's in 8th place, 22 points out of that qualifying spot. We talked to his coaches yesterday and today. This qualifies as one of those odd object events, the dumbbell step overs, the awkward dumbbell lunges. You know, most importantly, though, his coaches said Cody's in the final heat today. He's with the best of the best. His coaches feel being in that final heat benefits him more than anything else he's done. It's human nature. You're going to push with the competition around you. And as we know, with Patrick Vellner, these guys really, really push hard. We saw Chase Smith go to that dark place yesterday. Cody Mooney's coaches feel Cody can feed off of those guys and push himself even harder. Just hoping they get that go button, that turbo button, as we hit this 17-minute workout. He's going to need it as we get towards the end.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Cody Mooney, less than 5 reps, but it is Chase Smith who made a move, and he is one of the 3 with Barquan Jones and Cody trying to get into the top 5 that are within striking distance as we take a look here on the assault bike. Head down, just grind, and there's Cody Mooney off to the right, and that's Chase Smith with the navy blue shirt with a B on the front. Again, he's won a couple of events so far.
And you want to talk about pressure? Chase Smith has it. This is the position he has been in time after time again in years past, finding himself needing every point in the final day of competition. He did well yesterday with a first place, but didn't start the day well at a 33 placement in event 3. He was all over the map on the leaderboard. 22nd on day 1 with the first event. First in event 2, so he really needs just that solid top 5 in these 2 events if he wants to make it to the games. He said he was excited about this event. It's a lot of work. I'm hoping he didn't go out too hard here in those first couple elements.
There's VJ. He's holding on to the final spot with 256 points. Getting 200 points on the line. He's had 3 top 10 finishes. He's been really consistent so far this weekend. He did have a 16 in event 3, but that's not a terrible finish. Otherwise, a 7th and 8th and an 8th place finish.
But his only safety net is 6 points. That's all he is ahead of Chase Smith, so that's not safe by any means.
That was Chase Smith. I would not be so much worried about VJ right now as much as Cody Mooney getting in between there and maybe sneaking away with that top 5. Still 100 points remaining, and there's Marquand Jones in the light gray top and the dark gray bottoms. And you have the camera in his face right there. And Marquand has been so close. He's one of the guys that's been oh so close, and right now just 12 points out. So a good day today could send him to Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, and he needs that because he came into yesterday in 3rd place, dropped down to 7th place. So he really needs to make up some ground here. And 12 points back, but I love that they're all side by side. I love that they know exactly who they're pushing against. And I'm anxious to see, especially with Jones, with Smith, they're the 2 guys that are always right there, so close. So I'd love to see a Cinderella story here.
And they are kind of Chase Smith and Marquand Jones, kind of the anti of each other, where Chase Smith has kind of bombed his first event and hit a home run in the second. Marquand started out each day well, falling off. A 2nd and a 14th day 1. Top 10 with a 9th place finish on event 4, and then event 3, then a 23rd on event 4. So they've kind of crisscrossed each day. Here's Pat Bellmer. Bellmer now, the overall leader, makes his way toward the box. He'll take a look over. He's only got 1 competitor down there.
And that's Chase Smith.
Yep. Chase Smith. And then at the bottom of your screen, it's like Joyala's moved in the blue shorts. That's Chase Smith in the gray shorts, and Bellmer in the black shorts and the light blue top. And here's where the fun really begins, Tanya. You get these 70-pound dumbbells and these step overs. We've talked about how the surface area is a lot larger.
But watch their technique. That is the difference. Chase Smith is taking a couple of steps now. He's just changing it. Bellmer moves across. He glides across the box. He takes 1 little step to get himself up, does a pivot turn as he steps, and he's off the box. Chase Smith was taking a little extra step to kind of get his footing, and then a step. The faster you can get over that box, like Bellmer is, to commit, go, he's keeping that box nice and level. I have to believe Michelle Latondra had played a part in kind of strategizing how to do this. That is his coach. She has been to competitions throughout all the years, games history. She has many games under her belt. She's very good at the little strategies and the little things that make a big difference, especially when it comes to the more unorthodox items or the little odd objects that come up.
Behind Bellmer, just onto the right on the camo top. That's the guy that made the move yesterday, Tim Pawson, currently in 2nd. He had a 1st and a 4th place finish, and right next to Tim Pawson, Alexander Caron holding on to the 4th spot, an 8th and a 2nd place yesterday. Caron's in by 26 points, and Pawson is in by 50 points right now. Again, Bellmer on the front in the blue shirt. That is Pawson in the blue shorts, camo top, and that's Alexander Caron over there in the black top and the purple shorts.
Pawson is just an animal in the camo top. Watch the way he steps down, turns, and gets right back up. He's aggressive. He really gets after these box step-ups.
He is trending the correct way, and that's why he's sitting in 2nd place right now. Well, you were concerned, but I think for Tim Pawson with his size, the triple threes, 20th place, not bad, some damage control. He knew when he could pick something up or move it around, he would make up the ground. There's VJ again. Again, he's hanging on to the 5th position. has a little bit of ground to make up here, because it's not going to be so much if you can beat Chase Smith or Marquand or Cody head-to-head. It's how many of these guys get in between you, and we'll see if Jean-Simon Wallemire can somehow make a move. 36 points, that's going to take something today.
Well, and remember, this event is the longer event. You see where you are against your competition. The final event, Jeff, that's a sprint. It's going to be hard to see exactly where everyone is, so this is your chance to move. This is your chance to push yourself if your body can hold up.
Well, Marquand Jones, who's hunched over there, has VJ just off to the right. He can kind of watch him. He's staying ahead of VJ, but the danger again was, this Cody Mooney going to jump Smith and Jones? There's going to be a lot of jockey for position here, and again, the higher finish you get, we talked about it earlier today in the team events, the more points you get between, because that graduated scale. And here is Mooney again off to the right, and Chase Smith is hunched over right in front of us. Smith in 6, Mooney in 8. They're both trying to catch VJ. Smith 6 points back. Mooney with 234 points is 22 points out.
Hey guys, down here on the floor, you're watching these athletes. If people at home want to get a sense of just how hard this event is, you don't see these regional athletes hands-on knees very much. About every 10 reps on these dumbbell box step overs, you'll see almost every athlete set those dumbbells down. They're hook gripping those shorts like they got no tomorrow. And you just don't see that very often with guys like this. They're very well in shape. They're very well prepared for stuff like this. But every single one of them, including Patrick Vellner right now, is bent over at the waist, holding those shorts. That just gives you an idea of how brutal this event is, from assault bike to now step overs. Those legs are taxed. And oh, by the way, we've got lunges left to go.
Oh, this event is just a mess. It is. You have all the handstand push-ups. You're upside down. Toes to bar makes you suck wind. Then you have the assault bike.
Andre Ganin, 15:10:09 over in Europe. We'll see where Vellner, who is currently in first place in the middle of your screen, with that light blue top and the black shorts, just put the dumbbell down, where he is once he gets done with the box. We're looking for 13 minutes, 30 seconds as a time marker to see if he is going to stay on a potential event record pace. He's getting toward the end, but it's a slow way to get toward the end. And again, here is the battle to get into the top 5. Vellner a few more reps and he will get into the lunges. Again, 13:30 is going to be that mark we look for.
Still using the same technique. Steps, stay low, a little hop over.
Interesting today, Andre Ganin, we talked about here, is where this event is won. Andre Ganin was the last to get off the handstand push-ups in Europe. He started making up the ground once he got into the dumbbell movements, into the step overs and into the lunges. Vellner, 2 reps remaining. He's well ahead of the mid record pace. Again, we are looking for a 13:30, and he's about to advance the box forward and then come back and start the lunge back. And we've seen a lot of these guys kind of hang out here. Here's where you get a little bit of an extended rest before you pick up the dumbbells again. You're going to have to carry both of these dumbbells in the overhead lunge.
And Vellner sitting on the box to breathe. But he is so well ahead, he knows there's no need to get tired, to rush it.
So again, Chase Smith and Cody Mooney there. Smith shirtless down, Mooney off to the right of that black top, trying to hang on.
These are the athletes that it matters for. These are the ones to get to the games. These are the athletes that have the most pressure on them, not Patrick Vellner.
Mooney and Smith kind of looking at each other when they go over the backs. Again, 6th and 7th place, trying to chase down VJ. Look at Vellner. He is the only one on the lunges, and he is already about halfway down the floor. Tim Paulson trying to wrap up his step overs, but Vellner letting the back head of the dumbbell rest on the left shoulder, trying to keep that right elbow locked out.
It's so hard to stabilize that amount of weight over your head.
Again, he just had to be on the box at 13:30. We're still not there.
Look at this.
Wow.
He's on the ground. 3rd fittest man in the world, 2 years in a row. Literally, this event took him to his knees.
Well,
This is insane.
Trumps the hands on the knees when he went down on all fours. Again, 15:10:09, so he has a chance here with the record, and obviously a very good chance of Trevor James, who had a 16:03 earlier today. Only 2 finished in the prior heat as well.
It hurts so much to hold steady and stabilize and lunge when your insides are blowing up and all you want to do is breathe, and you can't because you have to hold and lock yourself in.
2 ships crossing in the night. I'm sure that's always the worst feeling when you're going down the floor and you see the guy coming back, but he's nearly finished.
If it's Pat Vellner, you're all right with it.
Here comes Vellner on his way to an event record. Just has to get across the line and over the box one more time.
Oh, the effort just to hold that thing up overhead.
Event record, and for Vellner, his first event win of the weekend after 2 seconds and 2/3.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to wait to do an event record and an event win, this is the one that tells you what this man is capable of. He doesn't need to do that in day one. He'll just save it up for one of the worst, ugliest events in the history of regionals.
We've mentioned Joyal's name a couple of times. He passed Paulson on the lunges. He's at the bottom of the screen, shirtless in the blue shorts, and Joyal is going to be in.
Wow, that's huge. Joyal's coming into this event in 18th place, so this isn't about him. This is about whose points he's taken away from. He's taking points away from these guys.
Paulson's going to be good in 3rd overall. He's going to be able to keep a top 5 with no issue, but now we'll see how the points that Joyal took, and we have some other athletes that aren't in the middle lanes. And the middle lanes constitute your top 10 in this heat. Anyone that finishes in these white lanes, 1 through 6 or 16 through 20, are going to throw a wrench into the scoring. We do see Marquand Jones there in the light gray top, the silver top, and the dark gray pants. This will be good for him, but Craig Kenny's making a push right behind him. Here you put the dumbbells down, and it'll give it an opportunity for Craig Kenny to come in. Craig Kenny in the tank top and the army green shorts, he puts it down. Now somebody just threw a wrench into it.
Outside athletes coming in.
And that's going to be Tyner Lane. We've talked about Tyner a little bit this week, and a 28-year-old.
His best finish was the first event. He took 4th there. That's when we were talking about him. Cody Mooney, though, struggling with these last steps.
Marquand Jones and Craig Kenny. Kenny puts him down, but it's Marquand who makes the big statement. Kenny is in. Should keep it top 5, but here's Marquand Jones. He'll get in just behind Josh Gervais, who dove to the finish line. Here's Chase Smith. He's struggling as well. This is huge right now for Marquand Jones.
Huge for Marquand Jones. Not good for Chase Smith, but Marquand Jones really did sneak in there.
Boy, Marquand.
Cody Mooney.
Mooney making his way back. Vijay is back at the chess pieces. So Vijay looks like he may be losing a top 5 here with Marquand as we run into the time cap. Boy, there's a lot of points falling all over the place because we had some, let's face it, 9 contenders of the top 10 bump in between these contenders. But Marquand Jones, I think, the huge story, other than the event record by Pat Vellner, Marquand Jones may have found his way into the top 5.
That was a dominating performance there. Marquand Jones, he was very strong there at the end with the dumbbells. He handled the weight on the box step overs, and then there again on the lunges.
CrossFit record, his first win of the weekend for Pat Vellner, 2 2s, 2 3s. But even with the event record, we saw how devastating it was once he went down on the hands and the knees.
I mean, he was on the ground. Started off very strong. One of the movements he's the best at. You know, get him on a pull-up bar, toes the bar, handstand push-ups. Former gymnast. He just likes that stuff, but he is good at everything. So these heavy dumbbells, box step overs, they were exhausting. After every couple reps, he would stop and breathe just like everyone else did. But man, for as hard as this looks for Pat Vellner, he was the smoothest on it. He took his time. That first section really took his rest so that he could come right back all the way. But man, what a gutsy effort and a well-deserved event record.
First stretch on his hands and knees. Didn't have to go down once he won it. When you got an event record, that adrenaline kicks in and hands to the sky. And he is with Nick Zielinski.
Patrick Vellner, your first event win of the weekend. We're watching you regional athletes. You guys are the fittest of the fit. You've got hands on knees. You're sitting down on boxes. Can you describe the devastation of what that event brought to you guys?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't know how it looked. Like, I know I'm on my knees out there and I look like an idiot, but trust me when I say we need to do that from time to time. It's pretty hard. So I was just trying to stretch my quads out a bit and get ready for the lunges. Like, I almost failed my last step both directions. So when I'm sitting on the box there and I'm sitting on my knees, it's not because I don't want to do it. It's that I really don't think I can, and I really don't think it's a good idea.
Could you feel the energy of this crowd kind of cheering you guys on? That was a pretty cool way to finish this event.
Yeah, I think the last 5 steps for sure. That helped a lot. Like I said, I was right flirting with the line, so it definitely helps you get the last bit of energy to break for the line. So I appreciate all you guys cheering. That was awesome.
I got to ask about the assault bike. You're piling through that assault bike. The fan's blowing. You got the hair flowing. Is that part of the plan? Grow the hair out, let it flow in the assault bike there?
Oh, absolutely. It's only half how good you are. It's also half how good you look. So I think when I get out there, I get the hair blowing. It's great for the fans. It's great for the photos. It's what everybody really came to see.
A man with a plan, Patrick Vellner. Congratulations on the event win.
Thank you very much.
Patrick Vellner currently in first place. He'll stay there. He's been there all weekend except after the third place finish in event 1. But unofficial right now for the event, Vellner 14:35. Joey Yao makes a big move. Pawson, Lee, and James at VJ may have fallen, and I believe he did, out of the top 5. This is, again, is all unofficial. You can go to games.crossfit.com and check all the official information. The men are done for event 5. The women are on the way from the East Regional in Albany.